Today we're going to start a new unit on symmetry. The first thing we're going to take a look at is reflection, and to do that we will be using these transparent mirrors. Everybody will get one in class tomorrow and you guys will get to play with them and see kind of how they work. But basically what they do is they reflect the image from one side onto the other, and this just kind of gives you a diagram of what they're going to look like. Here's the front face and the back end. It's pretty simple. You guys will see in class tomorrow. And they're just called transparent mirrors. What they are going to help you do is to see how an image is reflected. If we take a look here, we can't really understand the words in this image because they are reflected over this line of symmetry right here. If we did have a mirror and we were to place it here, this image would be reflected into this. So now we are able to read what it says. Always look into the front of the transparent mirror because in this position the drawing edge will be facing you. And this is going to be kind of a fun day because it's fun to work with mirrors and see how things are reflected. So have fun with it. This shows you an example of what it's going to look like. So say you were to draw a little squiggle right here on your piece of paper and then you put the mirror right here. This is not actually drawn on the paper, this is just a reflection. So to actually draw it on the other side, you would take your pencil, move it around to the back side here, and draw it on the paper based on the reflection. So this right here is what we call the pre-image, and this is the image is the one that you actually draw yourself. And these two are congruent with each other. Congruent just means that they have the same size and the same shape, so they are matching. And if you were to move this around, this mirror, you could see how there would be more space in between right here. These images would seem further apart. If you were to move the mirror closer, the image would look closer to the pre-image. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a little activity in class with your books. The goal is to get this little guy here, this bee, into his little home here. So Beatrice the bee wants to gather pollen from each flower and then return to her hive. And your job is to use the transparent mirror to help her fly around. So how would we do that? Well, if I have this line here, how would we help her get to this flower? How would we help her reflect onto that side? Where would we place the mirror so that she would be reflected onto this flower? Where would the line of symmetry go? Right here. So, and we could see that this is even directly in between the bee and the flower to where she should be reflected directly onto that flower. What about if we want to have her go back to her hive? Where would we put the line of symmetry then? I would say right about here looks even and down the middle to where she would be reflected right there. And you guys will have your mirrors in class tomorrow to do this at your desks. So we see a reflection is just flipping the image. Here's our pre-image, or the image that we began with, the original image that we started with. And then here's the image that's reflected on to the other side. And then this, of course, is our line of reflection. As you notice, it looks opposite. It doesn't, instead of reflecting an exact R like this, it looks kind of backwards. And our reflections are always going to be opposite of the original object. When you look in a mirror, you might notice if you have a mole or maybe a scar or something on one side of your face in the mirror, it'll be on the opposite side. So say if right here you have something, this is right here, so it's on the right side of her face, but in the mirror it's on the right side, but it'll be directly opposite. Alright, so pre-image, or the image that you started with, and then image, the image that is reflected onto your mirror. And all you're going to do is when this is reflected into the mirror, you're going to look on that side and you're just going to draw it using your pen to kind of trace on the other side of the paper over here. Okay? Alright, this one's for Mr. Peralta. If we have this little guy here, and he wants to go over here, how are we going to do that? Where are we going to put our line of reflection? Right about here. And what is he going to look like when he gets to the other side? Is he going to look like this? Is this the correct reflection? No. He's actually going to be reflected like that. Notice how it is completely opposite. Let's get these out of the way. So, if we have the bear, and he's trying to go over here, where's my marker? There it is. And he wants to go on the opposite side of our line of reflection here. It doesn't reflect like this. It reflects like this, completely opposite. Notice how it was rotated 180. It's just like looking in a mirror. If you were to think, and when you look in a mirror, your eyeballs are staring back at you, just like this little guy here, staring back. So you stare back at your own reflection. Just think like that when you're thinking of reflection and images. And we will be doing some fun stuff in class tomorrow with the mirrors, and I hope you look forward to it.